Hi everyone, this is Aiden and I'm standing here in the middle of the grove here at Westport Woods. The trees here in the woods provide a stunning backdrop for the natural setting here.
Did you chop down this tree?
No?
Leave! Vacate the premises! Take your axe and get out!
Well, I don't even have an axe, and who even are you?
The Lorax, guardian of the forest. I speak for the trees.
Oh yeah. Much respect, Mr. Lorax. You know, I also speak for the trees, and here at Westport Woods, everyone does. The Westport Land Conservation Trust has been working since 1972 to protect the trees and natural land in Westport. They work to acquire and preserve natural resources, farmland, and wildlife areas for the use and enjoyment of present and future generations. They also seek to preserve and protect historic sites, educate the public about the wise use of natural resources, and to work with other organizations that have similar purposes. Well, Mr. Lorax, let's go talk about the trees here in the grove. They're an excellent example of what's been seen throughout the property. Let's take a walk. As we walk down the path through the grove, there are many different types of trees to identify. One tree is the pear tree. This beautiful tree blooms in the spring and provides an abundant blossoms that are great pollinators. There are different types of pear trees, both edible and inedible. In any case, the fruit can be taken by birds which disperse the seeds in their droppings. In the summer, the shining foliage is dark green and very smooth, but in autumn, the leaves commonly turn bright, brilliant colors, ranging from yellow and orange to more commonly red, pink, purple, and bronze. However, since the color often develops very late in autumn, the leaves may be killed by frost before full color can be developed. Different species of pears have different qualities. The calorie pears are remarkably resistant to disease or fire blight, but Bradfords are particularly susceptible to storm damage and are regularly disformed or even killed by strong winds, ice storms, heavy snow, or limb loss due to their naturally rapid growth rate. Pearwood, of any species, is among the finest textured of all the fruit woods. It is prized for their most making in woodwinds instruments, and pear veneer is used in fine furniture. Pearwood is also among these preferred for preparing woodcuts for printing, either end-grained or small works, or side-grained for larger. The Jupiter genus involves about 60 to 70 plants of aromatic evergreen trees or shrubs of the cypress family, distributed throughout the northern hemisphere. A number of species are cultivated as ornamentals or as useful for their timber. The juvenile leaves of the juniper are needle-like. Mature leaves are all shapes, spreading and arranged in pairs of whorls of 3. Some species have small, scale-like leaves, often bearing an oil gland, which are pressed closely to the rounded or four-angled branchlets. Male and female reproductive structures usually are born on separate plants. The reddish-brown or bluish cones are fleshy and berry-like, and often have a grayish waxy covering. They mature in 1 to 3 seasons and contain 1 to 12 seeds, usually about 3. Galls, produced by junipers as a reaction to fungal infection known as cedar apples. This fungus, cedar apple rust, completes its life cycle on members of the apple subfamily of the flowering plant family Rosaceae, which contains numerous species of trees and shrubs commercially valuable as fruit and ornamental plants. The growth of junipers around apple orchards and plantings of related genera is thus discouraged to avoid disfigurement or loss of these important cultivated plants. Another important ornamental and timber tree is the eastern red cedar of eastern North America. This species is an invader of glades, pastures, prairies, and other grassy areas in parts of its range. Thus, it's being considered a troublesome weed by some botanists and land managers. The berry-like cones of common juniper are used to flavor foods and alcoholic beverages, particularly gin. Juniper berries have a fragrant, spicy aroma and a slightly bittersweet flavor. Used with venison, they remove the gamey taste. They are also used to season sauces and stuffings and pickling meats, and to add flavor liquors and bitters. The fragrant wood of some species is made into cabinets, fence posts, and pencils. Eastern red cedar is especially common for the lining of linen closets and for cedar chests, as it repels moths and other pests. Tupelo is a small genus of deciduous trees with alternate and simple leaves. The most widely distributed member in North America is the black tupelo, also known as black gum, sour gum, or pepper ridge tree. It grows in woods and moist areas from Maine southward to the Gulf Coast and westward to Oklahoma. This tree typically grows to a height of 60 feet and occasionally attains a height of 100 feet. It is sometimes grown as an ornamental and is prized for its brilliant scarlet autumn foliage. A variety of black tupelo called the swamp black tupelo grows in swamps along the east coast and in the deep south. Tupelo wood, most of which comes from the water tupelo, is a pale yellow to light brown, fine-textured and strong wood. It is used for crates and boxes, flooring, wooden utensils, and veneers. It is also used extensively for artistic wood carvers, especially for carving ducks and other wild fowl. The onset of the cherry blossoms are always a welcome sign of spring. Cherry refers to many various trees belonging to the genus Prunus and their edible fruits. Commercial production includes sour cherries, which are frozen or canned and used in sauces and pastries, and sweet cherries, which are usually consumed fresh and are the principal type preserved in true imitation maraschino liquor. A number of species are grown as ornamentals for their prolific spring flowers, and a dark red wood of some of the cherry species is especially esteemed for manufacturing of fine furniture. Most cherry species are native to the northern hemisphere, where they are widely grown. Some 10 to 12 species are recognized in North America, and a similar number in Europe. The greatest concentration of species, however, appears in Eastern Asia. The native habitat of the species from which they are cultivated cherries came is believed to be Western Asia and Eastern Europe, from the Caspian Sea to the Balkans. 3 types of cherries are mainly grown for their fruit: sweet cherries, sour cherries, and grown to much smaller extent, the dukes, which are crosses between sweet and sour cherries. Sweet cherry trees are large and rather upright, attaining heights up to 11 meters or 36 feet. The fruit is a fleshy drupe that is generally heart-shaped to nearly globular, about 1 inch in diameter, and varies in color from yellow through red to nearly black. The acid content of the sweet cherry is low. The higher acid content of the sour cherry provides that characteristic tart flavor. Sour cherry trees are smaller, rarely over 16 feet in height. The fruit is round to ovulate in shape, and is generally dark red in color, and has much acid that is not appealing to eating fresh. The Duke cherries are an intermediate in both trees and fruit characteristics. The fruits of all varieties provide vitamin A and small amounts of such minerals such as calcium and phosphorus. Cherries are grown in all areas of the world where winter temperatures are not too severe and where summer temperatures are moderate. They require winter cold in order to blossom in the springs. The trees bloom quite early in the spring, just after the peaches and earlier than the apples. In Asia, particularly Japan, cherries varieties have been selected for their beauty of their flowers, and most of them do not set fruit. These beautiful ornamentals are featured in many gardens, and after about the 1900s were widely disseminated through the moderate temperature areas of North America and Europe. The Japanese flowering cherries around the tidal basin in Washington, D.C. were presented by the mayor of Tokyo in 1912. The white ash tree is a species of ash tree native to eastern and central North America. The name white ash derives from the glaucous undersides of the leaves. It is similar to the appearance of the green ash, making identification difficult. The lower sides of the leaves of the white ash are lighter in color than the upper sides, and the outer surface of the twigs of the white ash may be flaky or peeling. White ash is one of the most used trees for everyday purposes, and to keep up with high demand, is cultivated almost everywhere possible. The wood is white and quite dense, strong, and straight-grained. Its species produce an ideal, atypical dominant excurrent structure crown. It is traditional lumber of choice of production of baseball bats and tool handles. The wood is also favorable for furniture and flooring. Woodworkers use the timber mainly for interior uses due to high perishability in contact with ground soil. The red maple, also known as swamp water or soft maple, is one of the most common and widespread deciduous trees of eastern and central North America. The U.S. Forest Service recognizes it as the most abundant native tree in the eastern North America. At maturity, it often attains a height around 100 feet. Its flowers, petioles, twigs, and seeds are all red in varying degrees. Among these few features, however, it is best known for its brilliant, deep scarlet foliage in autumn. Over most of its range, the red maple is adaptable to a wide range of site conditions, perhaps more than any other tree in eastern North America. It can be found growing in swamps, on poor dry soils, and almost anywhere in between. It grows well above sea level to about 3,000 feet. Due to its attractive fall foliage and pleasing form, it is often used as a shade tree for landscapes. It is used commercially on a small scale for maple syrup production, as well as for its medium to high quality lumber. It is also the state tree of Rhode Island. The red maple can be considered weedy or even invasive in young, highly disturbed forest, especially frequently logged forests. The red maple's maximum lifespan is 150 years, but most live less than 100 years. The tree's thin bark is easily damaged from ice and storms, animals, and when used in landscaping, being struck by flying debris from lawnmowers, allowing fungi to penetrate and cause heart rot. The red maple is also one of the first plants in spring to flower. A crop of seeds is generally produced every year with a bumper crop, often occurring every second year. Norway maples, another tree on the property, are native to Europe and Western Asia. Norway maples are found growing all over the United States, however, in many diverse environments. They are very well adapted to extreme soil types. Norway maples tolerate a wide range of temperatures. They do prefer full sun, but may also be seen in shady habitats. Also, this species is tolerant to sulfur dioxide pollution and ozone, so they can thrive in urban settings and forest. Norway maples will be found in the United States anywhere from the border of Canada south to the Carolinas in early or late succession forests, wetlands, yards or gardens, or in disturbed open areas and roadsides. Many Norway maples made their way from Europe to the United States by being transplanted as ornamental specimens or by having individual skeebs escape cultivation. Due to the dense canopies of Norway maples, forest diversity is beginning to decline by the excess shade they create in the habitats. In urban environments, the root systems also destroy pavement, requiring expensive repairs. Other species of flora and fauna, such as insects and birds, may indirectly be affected due to the change in resources and diversity available. Norway maple is also susceptible to types of fungi, such as verniculum wilt and anthracnose, and may be served as a host for aphids. The Westport Land Conservation Trust removed many of the Norway maples upon acquiring the property, and they continue to remove the Norway maples today. Now what can you do? Plant a tree at home, and make sure that native tree is from New England. And as you walk around the woods today, see how many of the trees you can find that we talked about, and take a picture of the trees. Tag them to @Westport Nature Hike on Facebook or Instagram. And remember what the Lorax said, unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not.